You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Actually, I am not Kimberly Bermel, but thank you for listening to American Medicine Today. I am Ethan Euchre, joined by Jeff Wagstaff.
Yes, I am.
And, of course, world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. How are you doing, Doc?
Hello.
So, obviously, this is going to be a really big show, really big show, given that Dr. Bonati has been a cheerleader, shaking the pom-poms for Mr. Donald Trump for, what, a year and a half now? Probably even longer than that.
Since the day he came down those stairs in the Trump Tower to announce his presidency.
Exactly. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of laughed at I respect the hell out of you, Doc, but I kind of laughed all along, especially when it was a thick field of candidates, you know. I thought, there's no way this guy's going to make it to the end. So I am eating my words today, and I got to say I'm definitely happier that Trump made it in than Hillary. But we'll get into all of that stuff. A lot of stuff to get into, of course, and really the main purpose of the program here is to shine a light on what Dr. Bonati does and his staff at the Bonati Spine Institute, and what better way to discuss that than to hear it from a patient firsthand, which we'll do here in a second. If you are experiencing neck, back, sciatic pain, migraines, things of that nature, you want to get it checked out, Dr. Bonati will take a look at your MRI free of charge. Give a call, 855-267-0482, 855-267-0482, or visit bonati.com. Again, great show today. Doc's going to be rejoicing with the Trump victory. So, of course, knowing this and being the guest booker, I lined up a bunch of people to talk about it. We're going to hear from returning guest and Louisiana Trump delegate, Mr. Jeff Crouere, as well as Brian Crabtree, who's a rising and influential young voice in the conservative media. Then Kimberly is actually in Hawaii right now, probably sleeping, but we're going to ring her and wake her butt up, put her on the phone.
We're going to wake her up to put her on the show.
She actually requested, she's on vacation and requested to come on the show because Donald Trump won. And
That's dedication.
She wants to do a little bit of gloating. So we'll check in with her and get her thoughts on the election. But up first,
in today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
Joining us right now from Camillus, New York, we've got Bonnie. Is it Turan? Turan, are you in a tornado?
I'm in a little bit of a windy situation. I'm in Watertown, New York, and the wind is blowing like crazy.
Wow.
I thought I was going to lose you.
Well, let's hope you don't, because we want to hear your story. I know Camillus is my old neck of the woods, the old 315 out by Syracuse, so fellow upstater.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, let's get into your story, Bonnie. I know that you delivered mail for 25 years. Do you think delivering mail contributed to your eventual back pain?
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't help. It was a tough job, a job I truly loved, though.
But you didn't feel any back pain throughout your tenure, your 25 years delivering mail, right?
Nope.
When did it happen?
I think it was a gradual process. I truly never had any lower back pain. It was always in my leg and the back of my butt. That's a terrible thing, but it more was in my leg. I never really had back pain. And
what did you think? I mean, did you seek out help or an expert opinion on why you had leg pain?
Yes, I did.
And what were you told?
In Syracuse. I was told that my back was a total mess, that I would need a 28-inch incision, bars to cage in my spine, 84 some odd screws. I would have to wear a shell, like a turtle shell, for 5 months and go to physical therapy for a year. I think I stopped listening after the turtle shell, and my husband, who didn't say a word through the whole doctor's appointment, just looked at the doctor and said, well, what's the guarantee? And the doctor just waved off and said, oh, there's no guarantee.
You never want to hear that from your doctor.
No, it was the most disheartening appointment I think I've ever in my life encountered.
With all that hardware, it sounds like you'd probably put on 5 or 10 pounds and been in a living hell dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, sir. I was already in a living hell, and that was not the answer I needed. We walked out of the doctor's office. We got in the elevator, and my husband turned around and said to me, I don't care where you have to go. I don't care what it costs. You find somebody else. Get on that internet. And I did. I had a close family member get in a very serious car accident and was airlifted to Bonati 10 years before. She's your youngest. She was one of your youngest patients.
Oh, really?
And she was only there for 4 days. She was home. The day that I had my surgery, my husband was at the coffee bar waiting for me to get out, and she was waiting to deliver her first child, something that they told her she would never do.
Oh.
And she's literally, we're waiting as we speak to hear for her second child. So when I called her and told her I was having just horrific leg pain and back pain, she said, well, I hope you're going to Bonati. And I said, geez, Pam, I'm going to call him. And she said, here's the number. And I called, and that was the beginning. And I'll tell you, it was the fastest thing I've ever had happen to me.
But Bonnie, once you were able to reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, tell us a little bit about that initial contact and when you made your way to Florida. What was the process like?
It was the scariest thing I think I've ever done. After I had interviewed, I had sent the MRI. I literally got a call back. I don't think it was 36 hours later, and saying that they had reviewed my MRI and that I really seriously needed to have surgery, that they were fully confident that they could help me, and could I be there in 14 days.
That must have been amazing to hear that.
I don't know what a panic attack is, but I think I had one. And we were just, I talked to my husband, and he said, let's go. Let's go. We're going.
Now, Bonnie, I also understand, Bonnie, that when you first initially made contact with the Bonati Spine Institute, they actually gave you a list of like 25 previous patients and said, hey, go ahead and call them, see what they got to say. And what did you do? Did you call them?
I called every single contact they gave me. I talked to 2 football players. I talked to grandmas. I talked to young women. I talked to young men. I had talked to a man that fell off a building and had like 13 surgeries. Actually, he ended up being at Bonati with me. Talk about a God incident. And everyone I talked to, the first thing they said was, oh, you're so lucky to go there. It was just God-given. I called my insurance company. Obviously, I didn't have much time to make arrangements. I called my insurance company. She called me back within an hour and said, go with our blessings. Who does that?
Nobody does that. That's why it's so impressive. So you decided to come on down from New York. You get to the Bonati Institute. What was the evaluation process like when you...
Amazing.
Explain why.
Totally amazing. It was the minute I got there, we were greeted by Paul at the door. It was just... I'm going to cry. It was just amazing. Everybody was so nice, right from Donna in the front office. Paul greeted us, walked us through the whole facility, made us feel like we were right at home. There weren't very many patients there, and you felt like you were their sole. We were the sole people there. From the minute we got there, we were there for 16 days. I had to have 3 procedures, and they spaced them out over a couple days. And in between, we stayed at a hotel right down the road. The whole thing was God-given, and it was made so easy. And after we were there for an hour, I was so comfortable, there was no doubt. There was no doubt I was in the right place.
Well, Bonnie, as you know, at the Bonati Spine Institute, Dr. Bonati uses something called conscious IV sedation. It allows you to relax, but you're still awake and alert during surgery. So we always ask the patients, how was that for you, and did you watch the procedure?
Oh, yes, sir, I did. That was the best part about it. That was the best part about it. I was I'm very interested in the procedure. I had read a lot about it. I went on and looked at all the YouTube videos, and to be with Dr. Bonati and Dr. Uteg. Did I lose you?
No, we got you.
We're listening closely.
Intently.
To be with Dr. Uteg and Dr. Bonati, all the people that were in the small room, getting to watch it on TV, literally talking, laughing, joking, crying.
Yeah, Bonnie, we've had patients previously, including our very own Kimberly Bermel, say that it was fun. I've never heard somebody describe spine surgery as fun, but it sounds like you had fun.
I did have fun. I don't think I've ever been so touched by 7 or 8 people that were in the room. They were talking and drew me into everything. At one point, this is pretty funny. Dr. Bonati, they said, okay, get up on your knees and raise up your leg. And I kind of looked at him and said, I haven't done that in like 10 years. And he said, you're going to do it right now. And I did it, and I must have made a little face. Okay, come back. We're going to do a little bit more. It was just, everyone was laughing. And when I said that, I said, I haven't done that in 10 years. Of course, everyone starts laughing. It was so lighthearted, and they explained every single thing they were doing.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. This is the next thing we're going to do. To me, I'm very, very interested in it, and I was enthralled. The time went by so fast.
Well, Bonnie, let's tell us about your recovery and when you first started feeling pain relief and how you're doing today.
After the first surgery, they repaired L4 and L5. They said, okay, get up and get dressed, and we want you to walk a mile tonight. And I said, oh, yeah, I haven't walked a mile in a year without pain. And they said, you're going to tonight. I put on my clothes. I walked down the hall. They said, how do you feel? And I'm thinking, I hate to even say anything, but I really feel great. Go back to the hotel. I walked a mile and remember crying the whole mile because I hadn't walked. I had no feeling in my leg for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Delivering mail, I literally wore the side off my sneaker because I could not pick up my leg. I dragged my leg for 5 years. And about 3/4 of the way through the surgery, I said, that hurts. What hurts? I said, my foot is on fire. And they're all looking at each other. No. I said, yes, my foot is on fire. And they said, well, you couldn't be getting the feeling back that quickly. Within like 4 or 5 days, I could feel the rug. And
Wow.
that's something I hadn't done in years.
That sounds like an amazing story, Bonnie. And very quickly,
It was amazing.
we're almost out of time, but would you feel confident in how you feel today in recommending the Bonati Spine Institute to anyone else who's suffering from back neck pain?
Yes, sir. 4 of my immediate family have been there. 2 of them have been there for 2 procedures. One is coming back in February for a 3rd procedure. She's been totally disabled, and she will be back, and everyone is doing well. I tell everyone about Bonati. I can't say enough. Dr. Bonati was amazing. They were amazing to my husband. It was a God-given opportunity for all of us.
Hey, Bonnie, thank you for all this talk. And you're making me emotional, girl.
You're going to make Doc cry.
Hi, Dr. Bonati.
And Bonnie, we certainly want to thank you for sharing your story with us today on American Medicine Today, and we want to wish you continued good health.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thanks, Bonnie.
So much, you guys. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you. You have a great
Have
weekend.
a great day.
You,
All right.
you
Bye-bye.
too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You could hear the emotion in Bonnie's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many of the patients we've talked to, Dr. Bonati literally gives them their life back.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, after the break, we're going to talk to Jeff Cruer, who's a Trump delegate from Louisiana, and we're going to open Pandora's box. We're going to poke the bear that is Dr. Bonati and let him just celebrate good times that his man, Donald Trump, was elected president this week.
God bless America.
Come on back now, you hear?
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 50,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Kimberly Bermel actually on vacation in Hawaii right now. So
I'm channeling Kimberly, though, in the studio.
yeah, what, telling Doc to stand up and
Stand up straight.
Stand up straight.
Hey, Dr. Bonati.
Look at the camera. Anyway, I'm Ethan Euchre. Got Jeff Wagstaff standing by.
Thank you for having me.
And, of course, world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati. How you doing, Doc?
Hi.
You got to be doing pretty good, I'm guessing, especially considering, once again, that your boy, as I like to call him, Mr. Donald Trump, now President-elect Donald Trump, was elected president, as it is implied by the name.
America's boy, if
Let's
you
don't
will.
call them any more president-elect.
He's the president.
He's a president, period.
All right. Well, we got a guy who's also likely a very happy man, Mr. Jeff Crouere. He's author of America's Last Chance. He's a returning guest and a Trump delegate from Louisiana, the state co-chair for the Louisiana Trump campaign. Thanks for being back on with us, Jeff. How you doing?
Well, it's good to be back with you. Thanks for having me.
I can imagine. So where were you? What was going through your head Tuesday night watching the results roll in?
Well, we were having a party, and it was just surreal. I mean, it was so amazing to watch the results come in and to see the states turn red and to see these reporters so upset and to watch all these pollsters that they had to eat crow. Mm-hmm. And, I'd been hearing from so many of these experts that he couldn't win, that he didn't have a chance. But deep in my heart, I knew that he was connecting with the American people. I knew that there were millions of Americans that were looking for change. And it just restored my faith in the system and really gives me hope for America. And that's why I wrote my book, because I really saw this as our last chance to turn it around. Mm-hmm. Because if Hillary would have been elected, that would have been a generation of her nominees on the Supreme Court and just more of the same Obama policies, which have been so destructive. So to say I'm happy is quite the understatement.
Jeff, to your point, one of my favorite highlights of the election was watching George Stephanopoulos almost swallow his tongue when the returns started coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I love
and all the folks on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. I mean, Rachel Maddow almost cried, and I mean, it was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying that.
Yeah. Well, and I know something else that Doc wanted to touch upon, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Jeff. Just sort of the backlash, the protests, the crying.
Let's talk about a little bit about the protests.
Yeah, the riots.
What is your impression, Jeff?
Well, I'm here in New Orleans, and this is one of the places where the protesters were out Wednesday night, mm-hmm. and they vandalized buildings, they defaced monuments, they attacked Trump supporters. And the police did nothing, and they just didn't intervene. And they came back last night, and you had the police out, so they didn't have a repeat of it. But I've seen it all over the country. And I thought back to what happened 8 years ago, and what we did in the conservative movement then is we didn't violently protest. We organized and started the Tea Party.
Right. That
was the way that we got involved and were able to respond to it through political movement, through peaceful protesting, and through political organization. And the left does it a different way, and they're doing it through violent riots. And it just tells me the difference between what we have among conservatives and what we have among some of these real crazed progressives that are out there.
Well, I think this is just a matter of education. I really think that we are miscalculating these actions, because what we do have is an educated democratic protesters. Mm-hmm. And the major trouble with that is I think that's disrespect for everything that is the country. They disrespect the flag, they disrespect the national anthem, they disrespect the teachers, they disrespect everything that you see created by the Democratic Party is based on disrespect and chaos. So I think what we need to do is we need to create a new direction. And let me tell you how I will do it. I remember that we are the first ones to talk about the problems with the VA hospital. Mm-hmm. And
right.
Then suddenly become an issue. And that happens because I was a resident at the VA hospital, and I fought because the lack of treatment to the patients at the VA. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly when we start to talk about them, then suddenly took the form and become a national discussion. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what I would like to make a national discussion now. I really think we need to institute the military draft. I think if we institute the military draft, these crappy people who is uneducated is going to be placed under a military training. The first thing that you're going to have with that is not only respect for the country, they are young people who is totally misguided with misinformation and lack of knowledge and lack of preparation to survive in the country with competition.
And no discipline.
Mm-hmm. If you reinstate the draft, or individuals that they create any issue of misbehavior, and instead to grab them and put them in jail and things like that don't work, you just put them in the military and then assign them to responsible training in military. Look at the beautiful people who come from the military. Mm-hmm.
Right.
They are organized. They are gentle. They respect the flag. They respect the country. They respect the political system. All this is because they are being taught discipline. Mm-hmm. And the Democratic Party create two groups. The rich group who's going to enjoy the slaves, and the slaves, they need to be as ignorant and as irresponsible possible, so it becomes a force to maintain them in the government. So we need to create a military draft. You're going to see if the President Trump does something like that, you will see how these people will dismantle in a matter of minutes, because they're cowards. And more than that, if you destroy a car or you destroy a building or you do something to any element of the city or the private citizens, grab that people and give them the responsibility to clean and pay for.
Like community service.
Exactly. If you do things like that, all this stupidity of actions like this will disappear in a matter of weeks.
Well, and I think your idea is great. And in fact, one of my listeners of my program offered the same suggestion about what we need to do for the young people that seem to be so misguided and seem to not really appreciate what America is all about. One of the sad things, Doctor, is that among the protesters in New Orleans were students at Tulane University. And this is a university where their parents pay $70,000 a year for them to be, quote unquote, educated. They're being indoctrinated. They're not being educated.
Exactly.
They're being indoctrinated into a very liberal, progressive mindset, and they don't appreciate this country. They don't appreciate the values that we have in our constitutional republic, our Constitution. And they're out there defacing property and committing violent acts, and they're Tulane students.
Jeff,
it's amazing.
It's really sad.
It's amazing. Sometimes we talk to people on the streets, and we ask them just very simple questions of responsibilities of the citizen in the country. They have no knowledge of anything.
No.
It's like somebody's talking at somebody who is coming from a country far away from Earth because they are so ignorant that it's scary.
Doc, as I watched those protesters, I had to ask myself how many of them left their parents' basements to actually go vote.
Not only that, how many of those ones that don't make any money? How many of those ones they're not educated? How many of those ones they are living in the food stamps? And how many of those ones they don't have a job? That is the problem.
That's a good point.
Now, instead to be getting and paying on food stamps and stupidity like that, grab that people, put them on the military draft, and you're going to see how these people comes out citizens that they will be able to be used by society, respect society, and be an asset to the country.
All right. On that note, hey, Jeff, we're out of time, sir, but we certainly appreciate you coming on with us. I know Doc has been just itching at the bit to bring up his draft idea, and I tend to agree with it. But anyway, out of time. Jeff Cruere, author of America's Last Chance. Pick up the book. I'm assuming Amazon everywhere, correct?
Yes, and my website is jeffcruere.com. I'd love people to go check it out right there on my site.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Jeff. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Interesting stuff. More to come as well. We're going to speak with Brian Crabtree, who's a radio host out of Atlanta and a rising voice in the conservative media movement. So more celebrating for Dr. Bonati coming up next on American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 50,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute,
What's his name?
featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Vermel.
You are listening to American Medicine Today. I am not Kimberly Vermel. I am Ethan Euchre. Kimberly actually on vacation. She's going to join us later in the show. She is in Hawaii. Requested that we call her because she wants to talk about the fact that Donald Trump is your president-elect.
You're fired.
That's what he just said to Obama. Got Jeff Wagstaff here. How's it going, Jeff?
Thanks for having me.
I would love that. She would walk there, look at him, and say, "You're fired."
You're fired.
You're fired.
That would be hilarious.
I wonder
if
if
he
they said that
the other
behind
day.
closed doors when they were in the White House the other day. If he told them, Brock,
You're
I
fired.
apologize. You're fired.
You're totally fired. You're totally fired. We're going to go build that wall. So obviously continuing to talk about the election and the results. Joining us right now, a rising and influential young voice in the conservative media, Mr. Brian Crabtree, election analyst, publisher of Talk40.com, contributor to townhall.com and dailycaller.com. Obviously a busy man. Also the host of the Brian Crabtree Show on Atlanta's Biz 1190. Thanks for joining us, Brian.
Hey, great to be here.
What's that face, Jeff?
Brian's all over the web.
He's got all kinds of stuff going on. So what were your thoughts on Tuesday night as the results started to
Well, I've had a
rolling?
fun week on my radio show. I had a producer who didn't believe and thought Trump could never be elected president. He wasn't a never Trumper. And I've received a lot of criticism for my prediction back in May, specifically May 5th, that Donald Trump would win in a landslide and a shocker, where I predicted he would win Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, along with all the other red states, and Ohio. And he did just that. The reason I knew it was going to happen is because I saw what they're now calling the Cracker Barrel crowd, which is the apparently white Americans who they want us to think are racist, who go to Cracker Barrel. They did a report and said 78% of the people in counties with Cracker Barrels across the country voted for Donald Trump versus 22% of the people with counties with Whole Foods voted for Donald Trump, pointing out that the average American who's been quiet, the silent majority, is sick of it, and they showed up in mass. And I just saw it coming, and so my reaction is elatement, because now we have a chance to take this country back from the fools who've been ruining it.
Absolutely. You know what else, kind of jumping on what you were just saying, I heard I've been watching news pretty much nonstop all week, especially since the results came in, but they interviewed on one of the stations a Hillary supporter. And they said to the Hillary supporter, why do you think Trump won? And she said very simply, because we as Democrats, liberals, progressives have spent way too much time courting minorities instead of focusing on, the fabric of America, working class white people who historically would often vote Democrat, and they were disenfranchised and said, you know what, you guys don't care about us. You're the elitists, the Hollywood crowd. We're going to go with somebody who is going to make change. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Well, think about it. Think about this. You've got a message from Donald Trump that identifies problems that most Americans identify with, especially those that are working. We're losing our jobs. We're being taken advantage of, and we're going to fix it, and we're going to make America great again. That's identifying a problem with a positive solution. The liberal solution to that very problem with jobs is those jobs are gone. They're never coming back. We'll give you some training so you can get a new job. Well, most of us don't want a new job. We want our job to stay here and not go somewhere else. The Hillary Clinton campaign focused on Donald Trump and how bad he was, and every single time to the Cracker Barrel crowd, as they call it in America, the just run-of-the-mill average American, every single time they called him a racist, a bigot, they made fun of Christianity, anything that they did that the left typically does, it reminded the Cracker Barrel crowd of how they themselves have been treated when they've dared to speak up, and that's why they didn't care about Trump's comments, his women, any of that stuff. They cared about the message that Donald Trump was talking about, and every time he got attacked, it was as if though the Clinton campaign was attacking them. And when she did the basket of deplorables, it showed them for sure. It was a billboard in the sky. This woman hates us. And I'll add one thing to it. This is a lesson for everyone. When you're on a team and a group and a family and a business, especially politics, and you go all in supporting a criminal and not calling them out and rooting them out of your group, as the Democrats did with Hillary, you lose in the end. And this was their payback for not bringing justice to Hillary Clinton and finding someone else from the Democrat Party that they could be proud to be associated with and wouldn't spend their entire election defending her for what she had done and continued to do.
I think you're giving too much credit to Democrats. I'm telling you,
Well, I may be actually.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be humble in victory.
No, you don't. You don't. In victory, you just defeat and destroy your enemy and bury them not under 6 feet, under 20 feet. Because
I like your style.
The problem with this is very simple. These people, if we don't bury them, they're going to come back. And to be able to avoid that they come back, we need to educate the system different. All these Democrats that they are right now in riots and things like that, they are kids, they are females, young females, they are blacks, they are Latinos, individuals that they do not have enough knowledge to really judge America. That's why the white America came and give them a slap on the head and correct the problem. They always remain vigilant, and when they are needed, they come back. But the problem is, we need to start to educate these people.
Yeah, we do.
These type of situations happen because we disrespect the flag, we disrespect the national anthem, we disrespect the teachers, we disrespect the parents. We have no organization who really correct these young people. They are totally strays. So what we need to do is reinstate the military draft. If we do that, we will put all these people back on the military training, and then they will respect the flag, they will respect the national anthem, they will respect the individuals that they are older than them, and they will protect the country. Look at the people who comes from Iraq or the wars or Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. All these people that were practically lost in life. They went there and they become fantastic people that they can be a service to the nation and at the same time can be a powerful group to protect the country, to educate the country. Teachers, they need to be educated.
Well, yeah, you're right. We've stopped educating people as they become part of our country, even if it's legal. We're now saying to people, due to political correctness, come here from the oppressive place in the world you're fleeing as a refugee, as an example, and just be whoever you want to be. Speak however you want to speak your language. Don't learn our culture, don't learn our history. You don't have to care about all that. The country should adjust to you. So we've become an unassimilated country. And what's happened is their values that reside in their homeland, they're bringing them here with no context of the American values that they're joining. And we're not asking people to assimilate. So what's happening?
We do.
We're bringing their problems here, and then they want us to become like them, which is what created the regime and the oppression that they're fleeing. And it just breaks my heart. We've been doing it in our own country. Liberals from the north flee down to the south, such as in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, and they're leaving the high taxes and the government overreach that occurs in those northern blue states, and then they're coming with those values to the south and saying, hey, by the way, we want to do it our northern way down here because it's better. Well, why the hell did you go south? I mean,
exactly.
It's you got to recognize that some of the conditions people are getting away from are created by the policies specifically of the left or the very far left, which gets into communism and dictatorship when you think about what's happening around the world. And it's amazing we do nothing to
we do.
Now.
I think this is a strategy. It's not that we don't do it. It's a strategy. The strategy is bring people here who doesn't speak English, who doesn't have any association with the country, who doesn't really want to be here because they are being eliminated, practically kicked out from their own country. And then suddenly these people are illiterates. They don't speak the language. They don't communicate. They don't know the history of the United States. And the next thing that happens is these people are being granted to vote. Are we crazy or what?
Clearly.
Yes, we're crazy, and I think it ended on Tuesday. Well,
Yeah.
to be specific, Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. it ended.
Yeah.
And I think, as you look around the country with a President Trump, I can't say there won't be protests, but the reaction of our government has to be swift. It has to be stern. There has to be accountability. 1,500 kids of 3,000 at Berkeley High School in California decided not to go to class. They're under 18. Where are their parents? Where is the school? Where is the discipline of the school? They should all be expelled if they don't come back to class immediately, and they should be given Fs for anything that was in class that week they missed.
You grab all these kids and put them in military training, and you're gonna see how fast the thing goes. And the next thing, if anybody goes and destroy private property or destroy cars or buildings or anything that belongs to it has proprietary damage, they should be immediately arrested and then give them a responsibility to clean the area, to pay for the damage, and to be in probation for the amount of money that they are compromised to pay. You're going to see how these people, that a bunch of cowards, will scramble like
cockroaches.
Cockroach,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, listen, Brian, we're out of time, but
Good
I love your take, man. We'd love to have you back on. And
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Where can people check out your show on Atlanta's Biz 1190?
Well, you can find either talk40.com or the BrianCrabtreeShow.com. Click on the Where to Listen tab.
Beautiful, Brian Crabtree. Thanks for joining us, man. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Brian.
Too.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, Doc gets fired up. I love it.
The blood's boiling.
Yes, that's exactly right. Well, the point of the show, even though we delve into politics a lot, is Dr. Bonati, despite his fiery political rhetoric, is one of the world's most renowned orthopedic spinal surgeons. If you are experiencing neck, back, sciatic pain, migraines, anything like that, give Dr. Bonati a call. 855-267-0482, 855-267-0482, the Bonati Spine Institute, or Bonati.com. We're going to check out what's new in American medicine today. Coming up next. Stick around.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 50,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Vermel.
Actually, Kimberly Vermel on the line, live from Hawaii. That's how dedicated she is to this program. Girl is on vacation. It's what? Is it like, I don't know. It's super early. That's
Very early.
That's what we know.
7-something in the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to be part of the show and was upset that you guys are going to be able to do this all without me.
I know. I just couldn't believe you're going on vacation and you requested that we call you because you wanted to talk about the election. But that brings me to the fact we normally do What's New in Medicine Today, but Jeff, in lieu of a Trump victory, wanted to do a special version.
Let's talk about what's right in America today, Dr. Bonati.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
So, Doc, you must be pretty pumped up, of course. I kind of want to get both of your guys' take on what you were doing at the time. Obviously, it was a shock to the nation. You guys, especially you and Kimberly, have been shaking the pom-poms all along, as I like to say, for Trump, cheerleading for Trump. So it couldn't have been as shocking to you guys, right?
Yeah, I called her around 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was jumping all over and screaming. So I knew that she was totally... And after that, she was unable to talk.
Right.
So she lost her voice.
That's right around when your voice went out, wasn't it, Kimberly?
It was. It was just such a fascinating evening because it was something that was so crucial for our country. And to have read all the newspaper headlines and see all the voter fraud that was out there, we believed he would win, but it's totally against all odds. So all of a sudden, when you saw things were close in the highly Democrat states, it was like sitting on the edge of your seat, biting your fingernails, like, he's got to get it. He's got to get it. He got, North Carolina. He got Ohio. He got Florida. And I was watching like a point something swing each way. And I was like, oh, God, please, please don't let anybody tamper with the votes that are in.
You know what I thought was interesting is that we're based out of Tampa, Florida, of course, heard all around the state. Hillsborough County, where Tampa is located, what are the figures? Do you know what I'm talking about, Jeff? It's like 11 of the last 12 elections. However Hillsborough County went, so did the nation.
And that was true.
It was true until this one, because
election.
our county was the majority. Hillary won our county, and yet Trump pulled out the victory. So,
Kimberly, you said something that I think you really hit on something important when you said against all odds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, though, if that's accurate. Because
but it was, because you had the liberal media set up to make him foul, and it didn't matter what feat he made, how many people were at his rallies. They would only zoom in on him, maybe show a few. If by chance you found somebody at one of these stations that would allow the true Trump experience to happen, you may see the crowd, but overwhelmingly, every other station was dead set against him. They didn't want him to win. They were all in the bag for Clinton.
And that's kind of my point.
They would conveniently forget what Bill Clinton did, and he would still be part of it, regardless of the fact that Hillary would win. Everyone's like, well, so what? It's not about Hillary. Yeah, but her pervert of a husband would have been in tow. The other thing, go ahead.
The thing is I think the reason that we all believed it was against all odds was because of the spin that the media put against it. Every single television outlet, minus Fox, didn't give Trump a chance. The pollsters didn't give him a chance, which proves that they don't really have a clue what they're doing.
Right.
And
but Fox
and even Fox was
actually.
doing some type of a dancing around that they were not really on his benefit.
They never really were on board.
Sean Hannity
No, they were never on board. And the only one who was on board, though, was Hannity and sometimes O'Reilly.
But I mean, the media even let us believe that if there was if Trump was elected, that the markets would crash. It would be the Great Depression. The exact opposite happened. They initially dropped slightly, and then the markets have gone crazy. And by the grace of God, the last few days have been very prosperous for those who invest in the market.
And did you hear China and Putin, and I believe even Mexico, have already written Donald Trump, saying they want to work together?
Yeah.
The country's
awesome
never
is
seen
that?
anything like it since the day Ronald Reagan was elected.
All the thing is, though.
I mean,
This is superior than Ronald
politics
Reagan.
on its head.
Go ahead, Doc.
This is even better than Ronald Reagan. Not only because Ronald Reagan was still a politician, he still needs to float between some ideas, but this man comes with a tremendous amount of business knowledge and very forceful. So I do believe that this is the blessing for America. When I woke up the day after the election, I look at the sky and was bright, and I felt like somebody removed shackles from my legs and hands because I felt free. I already saw again America has again the opportunity to have the dream, the opportunity, the business, and shine like everyone who comes to America thinks that this is the only place in the world where you have the opportunity to be yourself, and I thought that were robbing us for the people who lives in the country and the people who will come to the country trying to be Americans.
But here's the thing, Jeff touched on something when he said that it was a lot of depression. They thought the world was going to tailspin into a depression. The depression I saw were some liberal teachers that were crying because they didn't know how to tell the children. And I thought, well, maybe if you didn't disparage Trump, you wouldn't have so much double talking to do now.
Well, the world is all...
The only depression I see are the liberals going, how could it happen to us? Boo-hoo. And then they're lighting fires everywhere because, those are just peaceful protest a
That's
fire.
such a great demonstration of love trumps hate.
And right, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Kimberly, listen, we're out of time. I know you're probably going to hang around for our affiliate segment, right? Correct?
Will do.
All right, so I'm going to put you on hold. We'll be back with you and a lot more to talk about, of course. Saying goodbye to our affiliate station, WFLA in Tampa, and continuing on next with more talk of the election. Stick around. It's American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 50,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thank you for listening to American Medicine Today. No, I am not Kimberly Bermel. I am Ethan Euchre, joined by Mr. Jeff Wagstaff.
Yes, I am.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. How you doing, Doc?
Hi.
And speaking of Kimberly Bermel, that one is in what is Hawaii? Like the Aloha State. That's what it's called. She's hanging out in the Aloha State. How's it going, Kimberly?
Yeah. Talking to you live from Lanai. How about that?
Wow. How's the weather?
Yeah. It's beautiful. I'm swinging on a hammock out here.
A hurricane is coming.
I think it's a typhoon,
It'll be a
right?
typhoon on
It'd be
that
a
side.
typhoon in the Pacific, but you get the idea.
You want to know something, though?
No, we don't.
As I'm here, we do, because guess what? Everyone's protesting everywhere else, and they're burning down our votes. And here
Nothing.
in Hawaii, it is so peaceful, so beautiful. People haven't lost their minds. They're not depressed.
Did Trump win Hawaii? Does anybody know? I'm guessing probably not.
No, he lost.
It's a
I
pretty.
don't think he did, but guess what?
It's a
You don't see
socialistic
the
place.
pouting.
That's why they're so
But you
quiet.
don't. There's no pouting.
Nobody's
there's
there.
No crying. There's no
Everybody's
despair.
migrating.
There's nobody protesting in Hawaii or Florida because it's simply too beautiful to protest.
That's true.
And guess what? I think I actually see a rainbow.
Wow, look at that. It's a promise of a new day to make America
It
great
is.
again.
Somewhere.
Are you going to
Delivered
walk
so
to the
far,
end of the rainbow?
I'll find my pot of gold.
I was going to say, if you bring me anything back from Hawaii, I'll take that little pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
That would be nice.
Oh, Kimberly, I'm sorry, but I drove your car last night and I crashed it.
Oh, well, that's okay. I'm sure the replacement vehicle will be equally as wonderful.
Just as nice. Yeah.
I don't
Doc,
think
you're
so. Maybe a Kia.
Doc, here's the amazing thing. People don't
there
know.
you go.
Doc is an incredible surgeon. But he has been known to
Getting a few fender
a
benders.
couple fender benders, huh, Doc?
No comment.
I've been urging him to take my truck. You want to borrow my truck? Take it for the weekend.
Just roll over people.
I don't understand this. I never had an accident. Is Kimberly the one who has the accidents?
Kimberly does too. That's for sure. But wasn't it you, Doc, that wrecked one of the reason Kimberly has the car she has now? Didn't you wreck it? I don't think it was your fault, but didn't you get in an
No,
accident?
she gave me a car, never told me that it didn't have brakes.
Oh,
trying to
that's
kill
so
you.
not true.
Yeah. She was trying to kill you, Doc.
And she goes, I'm telling
that's
you,
okay.
I told you to don't drive this car. And I say, you didn't tell me that you have a car without brakes.
Oh, it was funny. It was going to be repaired, and he didn't want to be in the nice car, so he took mine.
Now I know why every time that she tried to reach the red light, open the door and put her heels down.
It's like the Flintstone car. That's what.
Hold on, though. So Doc was being a
Exactly,
gentleman.
Flintstone
If your car was unsafe, he was being a gentleman and driving your car to keep you safe.
To take the
I
risk.
told him. I said,
No,
"You
I
won't
don't
know
think
how
so.
mine
That was
handles
not a
if
reason.
it's all the safety features. Yeah.
That's something else.
But it wasn't his fault. I do have to say that. Somebody else blew through a stop sign and a red light, and
That's true.
yep.
And I
all
had
of
a
a sudden-
concussion and a whiplash and a broken knee
snoring.
and from that time on I snore.
Dr. Bonati, don't worry about it. I know a guy that can help you.
Yeah. His name is Dr.
No, I
Alfred
don't think
Bonati.
so.
Yeah. So listen, guys, wrapping up the show here, we definitely have some time to chat about this. I know Doc wanted to continue talking about the Trump victory. Anything that hasn't been said. Although, you know what, I had a thought. You kept bringing up your solution to the protesting and this and that was to reinstitute the draft, right, Doc?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just an incredible benefit for these totally uneducated, unprepared individuals that they are disturbing the peace. If you grab all these people and put them on some type of a military training, and you are going to bring individuals to society that are going to be helpful, and they're going to be proud, and they're going to do good things. If you don't, you're going to have all these type of hippie, crappy individuals that they walk around there dirty, without home, and
barefoot,
with food stamps and
smelling like weed.
Smoking weed and all this garbage.
Wearing tie-dye.
Well, listen. I bring it up again because I had a thought during our last break after you talked about it last, and I'm glad you mentioned hippies because that's part of it. Back in the 60s during Vietnam, there was a draft.
Yes.
Right? But there were still tons and tons of protesting because people who were in college, am I right? If you were in college at the time, you didn't have to. You were excluded from the draft.
A lot of people went to college.
And that's the people who, the same thing that's happening now, is that people who really doesn't have responsibility is the people who create the problem. Now, if you draft everybody, then you will go, it's not going to be a problem.
Well, I think what you want to say and what you want instituted isn't necessarily a draft. It's kind of like what they have in Israel, where it's a mandatory military service.
Yes,
everyone has to serve at least 1 year.
Women,
or whatever.
Women or men, they go and they serve on the military, and you are going to change totally the way and the perception of the country, the respect for the country, the respect for the elderly, the respect for education, the respect for the children, all this garbage that is happening today in the country. I mean, are you thinking there's going to be, it's okay to have one bathroom for everybody? No. In the military, you don't have that. You need to have a type of a responsibility of your actions. And if you do that, then when you go in society, you behave with respect. And the other thing that we need to do is we need to protect our vets. When the vets come to the country, they need to be protected because these people not only serve to the country, but at the same time they have injuries that they need to be attended to. And instead to do that, all this behavior of irresponsibility is being carried in every level of the politics.
You brought up an excellent point, Ethan. When you mention Israel, we could learn a lot from the public service that every Israeli performs. And also, we could learn a lot from the Israelis on how they treat their veterans. They don't have these issues. And as you were speaking, I realized something. We live here in an area that's not under attack. We're attacked by ISIS from far away, but we're not under attack every day. Think about the differences.
Only from the peaceful protesters.
Yeah, it's all about the love. But
we are absolutely under attack. We're under attack by poor sports, sour grapes, people that can't quite handle what's been going on.
But those poor Israeli people are surrounded by enemies.
Part of it.
Agreed.
Different perspective.
Well, but that's a different thing. That is a defense mechanism. That's why they institute that one. We need to create the same type of responsibility here because we maybe are not being attacked by enemies from outside, but we are being attacked by enemies from inside. And these enemies from inside is how the countries lose the battle because you have inside cancer, and the Democratic Party is a cancer for this society. And will end destroying the country unless we make a very clear responsibility. You respect the flag. There should be a law that they say you do not disrespect the flag. I don't care why. I saw in television one individual with a Mexican flag covering his body and burning the American flag. I'm telling you, if I see something like that, I will kick his butt, man.
They'll kick his burritos right back across the border.
See
you later.
Exactly.
Doc, something.
It it all goes back to united we stand, divided we fall. Come on, folks.
Exactly. Well, hey, listen, that'll do it for the show. We are out of time. Kimberly, hang up the phone. Enjoy your time in Hawaii. What are you doing? Why are you calling the show? Enjoy yourself.
I'm trying to recover. I was so sick at the thought that Hillary would get in that it just took over. And now that Trump's in, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
A little bit better.
You're seeing a new light.
Yeah.
I never doubt.
In Lanai, just to let you guys know, in Lanai, they were hit very hard with Obama's economy.
Oh, yeah.
And many of the jobs left this area and went to another island. So I have big hopes that Donald Trump will, get
why don't you ask how many of those people are Democrats?
Right.
All right,
but
let's
either
not-
way, Democrat, Republican alike, if Trump can do it, they're going to be thrilled.
That's right.
And for everybody listening, we know
And it'll
that
be Trump continued 2020.
Jeff.
for everybody
2030,
listening,
2040.
we know you have a lot of choices on your radio dial, and if you're watching on the stream, we want to thank you. Whether you just tuned in today, you tune in every week, you listen for a few minutes, you listen to the entire hour. We genuinely appreciate and are very thankful that you've tuned into the program. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
God bless you.
We're
And make sure
we're
you check
talking
out
about how
Bonati
envy
at
we are.
Bonati.com.
All right.
They can rid you of all your pain.
That's right.
All
right, Kimberly, we'll talk to you later.
Kimberly, these guys are Democrats.
All
They
right,
were
bye.
talking bad about you, and now they're just kissing you.
She can't hear you. I just hung up on her. Hey, if you have back pain, neck pain, sciatic pain, migraines, give a call to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0482, 855-267-0482. Visit Bonati.com. We are out of here. Enjoy your weekend.
We'll holler at you.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 50,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.